Meet PRX Forsaken, the player who comes to life when tactical mastery, raw aim, and fearless calling all comes into one player. In a grand final packed with legendary players, Forsaken is the controller player who redefined how IGLs can win championships. It wasn't the duelist or entry fraggers who shined the brightest, but it was the man pulling the strings on controller and still top fragging. This is how PRX Forsaken led PaperX to their first ever international trophy at Masters Toronto, and why he deserved the MVP more than anyone
Players
else.
like Forsaken and the others spend a lot of time just screwing around in maps.
Before we get into his gameplay at Toronto, let's discuss his aim routine and peripherals. Before that, really quick guys, I just want to let you know that live coaching is now officially available at discord.gg/MVSK from both myself and a couple other high-level coaches that we have in the tier 2, tier 3, and game changers scene. If you guys have ever been interested in getting your VODs reviewed live and have them potentially turned into content or YouTube videos and just have access to a lot of really good resources and coaches, join discord.gg/MVSK and come say hi. According to prosettings.net, Forsaken currently uses a Lamzu Maya X at 800 DPI 0.712 cents. He's actually known to change his cents quite often, but he generally varies from 0.65 to 0.75, which is really high compared to the average tier 1 player. His keyboard is a wooting 60 HE+, and last I saw he was using a Lethal Gaming Gear Saturn Pro Red mousepad. He has this aim routine that we're seeing in the background posted from about a year ago now, but I don't think this is something he does super strictly, and he likely trains using Kovacs or AimLabs for aim, and the quantity of games he plays at his level now is enough to keep him in top shape, along with the addition of the performance coach that PaperX has. To briefly go over this, Forsaken strafes and shoots the bots on practice mode until he's comfortable, then he'll run some hard bots, recentering his crosshair after every kill while doing micro strafes between the shots. He stops after getting about 24 plus bots a few times, each with the Vandal, Phantom, and Sheriff. He also says that he likes to focus on his crosshair placement the most when doing these, rather than the speed and quality of his flicks. As you'll see in the background, after every single shot, he tries to go back to the middle of his screen, aiming to be back at head height. He focuses on this more than the speed and quality of his flicks and one-taps, as we'll see, both in his gameplay and in his training. Afterwards, he's going to head out to the back, shoot some of the drones, and then he'll practice shooting the bots from far away for a short while before getting inside of the practice arena and going for multi-kills.
And party. Just on fire.
Now that we've briefly gone over his aim routine and the equipment he uses, let's start to dive into his gameplay at Masters Toronto. We're going to be going over the first and last map of the series, starting with Sunset.
Forsaken! You cannot be pulling roundside that out!
On paper, Forsaken's the controller of PRX, with his agent pool against Fnatic in the series being Omen, Astro, with a one-off Sova game on Icebox. But he's also the IGL, tempo setter, and sometimes he plays like a duelist in disguise, especially the way he pilots Omen. He doesn't just smoke for setups, he creates entire win cons through his utility, timings, conditionings, and one of his favorite things to do, re-aggression. Now, obviously, we know Forsaken is not the average smokes player. Throughout the entire attack half of Sunset, Forsaken throws a number of smokes, specifically to help PRX achieve a goal throughout the round. One example of this is a smoke for the right side of top mid during their 3-1-1s, as we see in this round. It's thrown to create pressure towards Market and Boba, as it cuts off the sightline of the A-Link player, forcing them to swing into an uncleared middle section of the map, or having them call for reinforcements to cover the gap, drawing people away from B main to Market and Boba, giving the pack of 3 easier access to the orb and map control. Another big smoke that Forsaken throws is a deeper Market smoke, which not only cuts off sightlines, but allows potential lurkers to sneakily attack Market through 2 path lines, as we can see through the arrows. And by throwing smokes like these very consistently and conditioning Fnatic, Forsaken's able to call an insane mid-round play for this last round of the half, allowing them to go through mid, up to top mid, then wrapping through Boba, where Forsaken's able to secure a 3k and they can ultimately convert the round.
And a massive comeback in this half from PaperX. Well, it's all the way back off the side of that timeout. Forsaken as well, picking up an attack up. He's got the money to just go for a rifle afterwards. Just watching mid. And a little pacier perhaps, going for a B-pop here. Yeah, Fnatic hard, disrespecting though. Deep push out towards A main, so they've got the information, they know what's up.
PRX end up losing both Patman and Something through the Alpha Air and Kayak lurk up A, but they're going to be able to keep the space mid that they've conditioned to ultimately progress through and win the round.
Mid themselves. See the shoulder. Forsaken, that is a ballsy TP. Out wide, off angle played. Could be on Kayak here. Could be on Kayak over towards A. You see Jing is making his way towards it, but all 3 players on PaperX trying to make their own individual timing play.
Forsaken is caught one. Can they catch the next? Crashes! Top pulls! They caught access towards it, but still, it's B main control for Fnatic. They should be in a good spot for it. Site needs to be cleared out here. In through the back of the site, it's going to be that plant.
10 seconds left.
Watch for Lions wall on a bit as the curtain drops. So does Alpha. Rocket to your feet, you cannot!
Obviously, PRX goes on to win this round, and that concludes their 8-round run where they don't lose a single round on the attack half. But it's not just about smokes when you play Omen, as the only other member of PRX in this comp with a movement ability being his TP, Forsaken's role in the comp primarily is a second in when it comes to more coordinated takes, not defaults. Especially during PRX's A contact rounds, Forsaken can be seen acting as a secondary dive using his teleport behind Jing to pose double threats during PRX's contact explosions. And sometimes, like in this next round we'll see, Forsaken's actually the first person in the site.
If Jing had thrown a nade in there, then surely he would have been dead, but instead focusing on taking the site.
Crashes forward, he's already taken the timing against them and he's trying to take it forwards. Fast and loose is the play. Wall into the back of the site though, it's all being contained in that flank again. Thrown close, no coverage inside, but Boaster's dead.
Now unfortunately, Forsaken ends up getting traded here by Boaster, but we're able to see how much impact he's able to get by being either the first or second player in and being able to support Jing when needed. Especially if he knows that he has teammates behind him to swing shortly after to pick up the trade. And this strategy proved very effective as it gained him a cast of 83% this half, which was higher than all of Fnatic. On this attack side, this playstyle actually led Forsaken to not only have the most kills, but the highest ADR on the team, only second to Kayak, a duelist across the entire lobby. Next, we'll be looking at the defensive half of Sunset, where Forsaken really gets to show a lot more of his skill and potential. If you didn't know, Forsaken is the IGL of PRX, which allows him to throw specific smokes to try and steer Fnatic into where he wants them to hit. Off-rip during this pistol round on defense, Forsaken throws a deep B main smoke, and since Fnatic does not have any utility they are willing to use to disrespect the smoke, since Boaster's Paranoia is their only flash, plan is to redirect their efforts towards A, where Forsaken and the rest of PRX are silent stacked. This one seemingly harmless smoke dictated so much of this one round's game plan. And unfortunately, our full team whiffs and we end up losing the round, but you're able to see how much impact one piece of utility that's well placed and well thought out can impact a round. As we mentioned before, Forsaken loves his one-ways. Though the A main one-way is a staple for Omen players on Sunset defense, Forsaken tends to cycle through the one-ways he uses, using some for the more neglected B main choke and also throwing one-ways during retakes, such as on top of default during the A main retake.
4 boxed in on site. PRX, this first map feels just an inch away.
Viper's pit offloaded. A blight onto the site that's given them that safety net. Fnatic trying to play through, but immediately it falls. And PRX take map #1.
Now, more often than not here on defense, Forsaken will be playing in a solo or doubled up setup with Jing. His most common positions are that of an anchor towards A elbow, where he posed the most threat to Fnatic's default in B market. Unlike more traditional players of this role, not only does he use his paranoia to stall out entries into his area of the map, but he loves, and I mean loves, to re-aggress, as I mentioned at the start, which garnered him 10 kills in the most ADR this half again. For example, a huge 3K that he got came from this round of defense, where Fnatic's attempts to take market for a B split were almost single-handedly thwarted by Forsaken's re-aggression after his usage of the paranoia.
Top mid. He's gone. Kai takes him out. Forsaken responds. Paranoia is going to be sweeping forwards as well, putting a bit of pause into the step of Fnatic. Slow as they go. Timing to be taken. Crashes the one with a spike here, and he's going to be dropping it into Forsaken's lap. Full control here. This is the round that's gone a bit skewed with Fnatic. They need a miracle in it now. The random spam. It's been picked up.
This playstyle may seem scrappy at first glance, but in fact, it is part of the mind games that Forsaken conditions, letting Fnatic know that even though they think a paranoia signals him giving up part of the map, it can also mean that he is still there, ready to fight and keep his space. For the most part, this is going to sum up the way that Forsaken plays his defensive rounds. He cycles his utility well, he cycles the one-ways especially, and his re-aggression on swings is one of the biggest key denominators in his gameplay, which allows him to get so many more frags and to help the team win rounds. Next, we're going to look at Lotus starting on defense. One word we can use to describe PRX's Lotus macro is disrespect. The crown jewel of that playstyle is Forsaken. As the solo smokes on this map, Forsaken is often left as an anchor on extremities, usually near the revolving doors on this map, but regardless, his style of play on set extremities dictates his high kill, often untradeable playstyle. Forsaken's most two common positions on this map for defense are tree and C-mound, whether he's playing with a pack or not. Most rounds he can be C-buying an Odin, which is crucial to his positioning. He often plays around the wall-bangable revolving doors, which not only are spots where he can get crucial chip damage on his enemies, but it also leaves him in positions where his paranoia can get great value.
Legs, and look at that, it's a prowler in your face and is sighted.
He's also often left as either an insert A rubble, or he plays spam alongside a supporting player for aiming through the door.
Here though, Fnatic waiting to see if PRX are going to be fighting heavy towards rubble, figuring out where they should be sending these ultimates, and PRX have swapped up the defense. Vice fully set up on A.
Playing with fire there, something escapes of his life.
After Forsaken started B supporting the Fade, he quickly rotates back through A through CT to go into tree and spam through the door after spamming through the door at B link.
It's very early, but as the clock starts to tick down a little further, remember that they still have to get through a Visal and
There
the
it is.
Showstopper.
The wall's going to be propped up already, and that's that Showstopper. Kayak! He can't get it done!
When it comes to C mound, playing behind the bump on the mound gives him opportunities to play around it, a pesky angle that is tough for enemies to fight as the mound itself is not wall bangable. It is also a good spot for a paranoia line, not just for C main, but also towards B main. If he's flushed out, he's just one teleport away from safety. Regardless of his positioning, similar to his plays on Sunset, Forsaken loves to reaggress. A huge aspect of Fnatic's playstyle is to re-clear areas of the map that are often won early into a round by the defending team. Knowing that, Forsaken's play calling has both him and the other player who has a teleport something play a guerrilla style on the respective extremities. His job in particular is to use whatever he possibly can to stall at the util or get picks in the process as he can easily reposition to safety.
No ults though for the defending team.
Watching for it.
This round is a perfect example of what I just said as we see Forsaken walking up to A Rebel to hold the space as something is here on C mound with an operator.
Get information over towards Mound, and he's going to ping right into this, right into the... Look how aggressive these setups are. Something getting posted on this angle. Forsaken deep over towards Rubble as well. Fnatic have no space on the map.
As we even heard it from the casters themselves, Fnatic does not have any space on the map from Forsaken's positioning and Something's positioning, something that Forsaken probably calls in the pre-round. As it was mentioned in Sunset, Forsaken yet again plays a huge role as being second in behind Jing on offense. Despite the comp that PRX are running having two duelists in Yoru and Raze, Something on Yoru plays more of a supportive flash/fast TP support role, whereas Forsaken functions as a secondary dive behind Jing's double satchels. Also akin to his plays on Sunset, Forsaken takes it on his own self to dictate the post-plant fights, often being the sole advanced space fighter when his team are down numbers or playing to stall Fnatic's retakes, which he knows are a huge win con. Fnatic has a 56% retake success rate on Lotus historically.
To this corner, Forsaken feeling like he needs to take this and take the fight straight to him. Kayak dropped through the wall. The bullet that just locks down, and now a bit of patience to be played.
This type of re-aggression from Forsaken is what allowed them to win this map. PRX probably would not have gotten this far into this map if he didn't have the discipline to not just re-aggress angles, but do them correctly and comfortably and safely to set up his team to win the rounds.
Hopes. Flash forwards to buy with the peak. All trying to cut this one up here with the paranoia. Is picture perfect, but not the clear indeed. Boaster straight there with the Odin. Trying to trade this one out, but the bullets are running dry. And Patman and Dubai not to be outdone.
Boaster's run out of time.
This map ends up going to overtime, and throughout the series, Forsaken's play has had major impact to dictating the round's tempos. That was taken to another level during this final map's overtime, as it is arguably that his calling and decision-making near single-handedly won PRX their first trophy. Here on the defensive overtime round, as mentioned before, Forsaken starts the round with the A anchor, with PRX conditioning their average A fight utility, leaving Forsaken as the anchor. Fnatic, however, are wise to the dangers that Forsaken proposes on A, so they turn it into a quick C exec. Forsaken's movements from here on out are crucial to winning the round. On the rotate, he clears out Alfire's lurk B main, allowing him access to the B door that he has seen great success with throughout the map.
Faded out, TP's in. Boaster going to be rejoining Kayak, trying to take control of this. Smart to the corner, but you're out in the open.
The door opens, drawing the site player's attention, even for a moment towards their flank, allowing Something to clean up Kayak and Chronicle. The final 1v1 is flawlessly won by Forsaken against Crashies, who was playing Mound. On the attack half, PRX had a lot of success taking their fights through A. Fnatic in overtime responded by having both a partial KJ setup there and Chronicle with his Viper utility. The site hit failed, leaving PRX in a 2v5 scenario.
Ambot dealt with the paranoia, sweeps forwards, Alpha. Playmaker once more, him and Chronicle.
Forsaken finds a trade onto Alpha, leaving him and Something in a 2v4, getting the bomb down onto B.
Would be a magical conversion of it.
The next sequence of 1v1 isolation is almost too perfect, like it was scripted. Forsaken catches Boaster on a timing, who opens the door expecting PRX to fight into C-Link. Something catches Crashies with a headshot, and then presumably Forsaken makes the tournament-winning play call to reposition the boxes, creating a crossfire with Something. Forsaken catches Chronicle retaking from Heaven, Something catches Kayak attempting to trade from C-Link, and with that, PRX are your Masters Toronto champions, and Forsaken is your MVP.
Forsaken, he's out of the fights, and Something is wrecking them from on high. PRX do it all.
If If you guys want more professional play breakdowns of matches like these, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and leaving a comment about what you enjoyed and any suggestions and players you'd like to see in the future. And again, go and join the Discord server, discord.gg/MVSK, to get access to live coaching with VOD reviews, professional play breakdowns behind the scenes, and much, much more. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.